Super happy to be home. Love the cabin. Now that I'm really getting into cooking, I missed a lot of my stuff. I did take some things with me, but definitely taking my herb garden. I miss having the fresh herbs. But today I'm working on a gnocchi with squash and kale. I have to get my lettuce grow calm down a little bit. So I'm starting this with pre-packaged. I cut this morning some butternut squash, and I'm cutting into small pieces, and then I will show you how we put it together. I've got my rock crock warming up with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and to it I'm going to add my half of a squash that I've diced into 1/2-inch pieces. We're going to let this cook for 8 minutes, and then I will add my garlic and my oregano to season, and then we'll go from there. So my squash has been cooking for 8 minutes. It's getting nice and brown. And I'm adding 3 cloves of thinly sliced garlic and 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and then a teaspoon of salt. And let it soften the garlic for 2 minutes, roughly. Then we're going to add the broth and oh, I gotta add my oregano. So I substituted, the recipe called for sage, and I decided that I'm not a big sage fan, so I'm going to do oregano. And when I looked it up online, oregano is the #1 herb to substitute if you're going to do sage, so yay. Okay, so I've added my chicken broth. Well, actually, this is vegetable broth because Rob's vegetarian, to the skillet. It's 1 3/4 cups, and now I'm going to add approximately 8 cups of kale. This came from my lettuce grow, so I have 4 plants and pretty much wiped them all out, but I'm going to mix this in until it starts to wilt, and then I will add my gnocchi. This is like the perfect size pot for this. I was worried I didn't have anything to cook this with. Boy, it sure smells fantastic. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I want it to burn. So the gnocchi has been added in, and now I'm going to cover it and let it cook for a few minutes. I've turned the broiler on to medium-high, and at the end we'll throw this into the oven under the broiler for a few minutes to let it brown up and melt the ooey gooey cheese. Alright, I've let the gnocchi cook for 5 minutes, and now I'm going to add the last tablespoon of butter and a 1/4 cup of the cheese. So there's 3/4 cup in here. And that's that. So 1/4 cup of cheese. I'm gonna melt that in there. Turn it over. And I'm gonna put this now, add the remainder of the cheese, take it off the heat, and put it in the broiler to brown. So I've slid this in here, and we're going to broil it for 2 to 3 minutes.